The fourth item in today's lecture is the erosion of the other, dehumanization and epistemic exclusion, under which there are two areas to discuss. A primary danger of dogmatic isolation is the progressive erosion of the humanity of those who do not share the dogma. When a group defines itself by an absolute truth, those outside that truth are often perceived not just as incorrect, but as fundamentally other or less than. Dehumanization is the psychological process of denying full humanity to others, placing them outside the bounds of moral concern. This process can take two primary forms: animalistic dehumanization, which denies traits like civility and rationality, and mechanistic dehumanization, which denies traits like warmth and emotion. A critical mechanism in this process is dementalization, the failure to spontaneously consider the mental states of another person. Social neuroscience has demonstrated that when individuals view dehumanized targets, the neural network responsible for social cognition uniquely fails to engage. This failure of the social brain allows individuals to act aggressively or dismissively toward others without feeling the distress typically associated with violating moral norms. This table provides details of some salient terms. Feel free to pause for more time. The tendency to adhere to a group's dogma is often driven by identity-protective cognition, the tendency of individuals to process information in a way that protects their connection to their social coalition. According to the cultural cognition thesis, individuals hold positions on contested issues not to express what they know, but to show who they are. In this framework, cultural and political values are cognitively prior to facts. When a factual claim contradicts a group's ideological standpoint, individuals will interpret the evidence in a way that reinforces their connection to those with whom they share important ties. This explains why increasing scientific literacy or education often fails to close gaps in belief. Individuals use their reasoning skills not to find the truth, but to more effectively rationalize their adherence to the group dogma. This motivated reasoning makes the group impermeable to external information, as every challenge is viewed as an attack on the group's cultural way of life. The fifth item today is philosophical frameworks for integrating conflicting ideations, under which there are two areas to discuss. To counter the dangers of dogmatic isolation, it is necessary to move toward a multi-perspectival understanding of truth. Philosophy offers several frameworks, most notably perspectivism and intersubjectivity, that provide a bridge between subjective points of view and a more robust objectivity. Nietzschean perspectivism is the epistemological principle that all perception and knowledge are bound to the interpretive perspectives of the observer. It rejects the notion of objective truth as a disinterested metaphysical realm, what Friedrich Nietzsche called the view from nowhere. Nietzsche argued that objectivity is not the absence of perspective, but the ability to master and evaluate multiple perspectives. By bringing more eyes, different eyes, to bear on a single matter, an individual can construct a more complete and informed concept of reality. This approach recognizes that all knowledge is interested and partial, but it also asserts that some interpretations are more informed than others based on the breadth of perspectives they integrate. A person who can shift their pro and contra and consider something from multiple points of view has a richer and more objective perspective than the dogmatist who remains trapped in a single vantage point. Husserlian intersubjectivity, the bridge between the self and the other, is found in the concept of intersubjectivity, as developed by Edmund Husserl. Intersubjectivity suggests that we learn about ourselves and the world through the other. It is through the shared perceptual experiences of the Lebenswelt, life world, that we can gain meaning and establish objective validity requirements. Intersubjectivity does not deny objective reality. Rather, it argues that reality emerges from the coming together of minds to make sense of the world. While physical reality exists independently, the meaning of that reality is 100% intersubjective. For a society to function, it must maintain a healthy intersubjective space where different thought communities can coordinate and share feelings and intentions. Dogmatic isolation destroys this space by denying the validity of other subjective states, effectively severing the social brain from the broader human community. The sixth item today is intellectual humility, the antidote to dogmatic isolation, under which there are two areas to discuss. If the danger of dogma is the illusion of absolute certainty, the solution is the cultivation of intellectual humility. IH is defined as a non-threatening awareness of one's intellectual fallibility and a recognition of the limitations of one's knowledge. Research in positive psychology and social science has identified several key benefits of IH for personal and societal health. Intellectually humble individuals are more likely to seek out challenging tasks, persist in the face of failure, and investigate suspect information. Furthermore, IH is robustly associated with more constructive responses to conflict in both personal and professional settings. This table lists salient traits and attributes associated with each type of individual. Feel free to pause. Intellectual humility serves as a safeguard against human errors and biases. By recognizing that one's current beliefs might be incorrect, individuals can buffer themselves from authoritarian and dogmatic proclivities. This is particularly crucial in high-stakes situations, such as political or technical decision-making, where individuals are otherwise prone to hold tightly to existing beliefs and fail to acknowledge the viewpoints of others. To prevent the formation of epistemic hermitages, organizations and individuals can adopt several structural and cognitive strategies. Perspective taking. Practicing PT, the cognitive capacity to understand another's viewpoint, allows individuals to transcend egocentric thinking and gain clarity on the limits of their own knowledge. Research shows that exposure to the other perspective increases IH, while immersion in the self perspective leads to intellectual arrogance. Encouraging minority dissent. In team settings, fostering a climate where dissent is safe can lead to more innovation and better risk appraisal. The devil's advocate role. Formally assigning team members to challenge the status quo during decision-making processes prevents the illusion of unanimity characteristic of groupthink. Second chance meetings, devoting extra time to reconsider decisions and interpret warning signals from rivals before finalizing a course of action, can prevent defensive avoidance. Institutionalizing fallibility. Leaders who exhibit high IH and servant leadership orientations are more respected and foster a culture where learning and discovery are prioritized over the defense of the group's dogma. The last section brings these ideas together and creates a new understanding. The dangers of following a singular dogma while ignoring the perspectives of others are rooted in the dual nature of belief formation. While shared ideations provide the collective effervescence and moral regulation necessary for social cohesion, they also carry the risk of cognitive rigidity and the dehumanization of the other. When individuals or groups become trapped in an epistemic hermitage, they lose the metacognitive ability to recognize their own fallibility, leading to a state where loyalty requires each member to avoid raising controversial issues. The historical record, from the frozen O-rings of the Challenger to the uncalculated stresses of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, serves as a reminder that the world does not conform to our internal dogmas. The dogma of physical reality and the dogmas of other human beings represent vital corrective feedback. When this feedback is ignored in favor of identity protective cognition or earned dogmatism, the result is often a catastrophic collapse of the system's ability to navigate complexity. Objectivity is not achieved by the elimination of subjective points of view, but by the integration of as many eyes as possible. By embracing intellectual humility and the principles of perspectivism, individuals and groups can move away from the destructive pathologies of groupthink and dehumanization toward a more robust intersubjective understanding of the world. The lesson found in these failures is that the most dangerous belief is the one that claims to be final, and the most resilient society is the one that remains open to the foolishness of those who see the world differently. In the final analysis, our ability to transcend dogmatic isolation depends on our willingness to treat the perspectives of others with the same kind regard we afford our own, recognizing that in the pursuit of truth, the other is not an obstacle, but a necessary companion. That concludes this lecture from the series, AI Deep Research Topics.